Orders of the day. Resuming debate on the speech from the throne to recognize the Honourable the Premier.
Mr. Speaker, it has been said that the best social program is a job. We believe that to be true with one addition. We believe that the best social program is a job coupled with the opportunity to be educated and trained to do that job well. That principle, Mr. Speaker, is the backbone of your government's latest speech from the throne. Avant des députés, Monsieur le Président, je vais...
Before I start, Mr. Speaker, I would like to take a moment to thank a few people. I would like to thank the Lieutenant Governor and her husband for the work that they do for New Brunswickers and for having come here to read the speech from the throne. Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank you for the work that you do here in this legislature. I would also like to thank all the people of the riding of Bédeshediac-Dieppe for the trust they placed in me in the 2014 election. And I would like to thank all the people of Kent County, specifically the old riding of Kent, who have placed their trust in me when I won the by-election to not only become a member, but to become the leader of the opposition at the time. And Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank all the Liberals of the province, all those who have joined the movement, and all those who have joined me in the leadership race. Of course, I would not been here if it wasn't for all the efforts and the friendship of the Liberals around the province, and I want to thank them for that. And I would like to thank the caucus, because these people are people who work very hard for the advancement of their communities and the province. And I would specifically like to thank the members for Kent South and Victoria-la-Vallée who have moved and seconded the speech from the throne. I think their speeches were very moving, and I wanted to thank them.
Monsieur le Président.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank all the people who work at the Premier's office. Those are very dedicated people. Those are not people that we see in the media, but they work just as hard to advance the province, and I want to thank them for their dedication. I would also like to thank the public service. Public servants believe in the province. They work very hard to advance the priorities of New Brunswickers. So once again, I want to thank them. And Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank my family and all the families of the people at the legislature. There is no doubt we would not be here if it weren't for our family or loved ones who are here to support us and to give us help when we need it. So I would like to ask all the people at the legislature to thank their families and my family for the trust they placed in us.
New Brunswickers, we are listening to you, and we know your priority is the New Brunswick economy. That's why our priority as your government is economic growth and job creation. Les Néo-Brunswickois et Néo-Brunswickoises veulent.
New Brunswickers want us to invest more in education. They understand that the best investment that we can make for our economy over the long term is in education and training. Strategic investments in education and training will enable us to have a strong labor force and innovative company.
That strategic investments in education are the best way to strengthen our healthcare in the long term. The best way to improve our healthcare system is to improve the social determinants of our people investments in education are the best way to give New Brunswickers a good quality of life and to lift many out of the cycle of poverty. En travaillant ensemble,
by working together for the advancement of the economy, education, and health, we are getting results. In the past 2 years, we have reduced the budget deficit by half by making the economy grow the fastest since 2004, and this by investing more in education and healthcare.
We understand that our education system does face some challenges. But unfortunately, many of these challenges exist because of the deep cuts to education made by the Leader of the Opposition when he was Finance Minister. The Conservatives of the time did not have a plan for education when they were in government. We do. En consultant les enseignantes et enseignants,
by consulting with teachers, community leaders, and other stakeholders, we have developed the 10-year education plan to make sure that our children get the best education possible while offering flexibility in the classroom. We know that we are getting better results by offering educators the capacity to do what works best for their classroom and even for their region. We also know that literacy is essential to the development of a qualified workforce and a good quality of life for all. Our commitment for literacy and training and continuous training improve the welfare of our citizens. New Brunswickers will be able to participate fully in school, work, at home, and in their communities. By improving the literacy rate, we will have a stronger economy.
That we offer our youth the educational opportunities they need to learn math, science, numeracy, reading, and French immersion as early as possible. Your government will offer more students educational opportunities in coding. Nos jeunes sont confortables à utiliser la technologie. Il faut leur...
The youth are very comfortable with technology, and we must make them comfortable creating technology.
Was take trades out of the schools. We will continue to put trades back in our schools around the province. Votre gouvernement a aussi...
Your government also listened to New Brunswickers concerned with early childhood education. One of the important issues for them is access to daycare spaces and payment for these spaces. So we will act. We created 2,000 spaces, and we will continue so that we will have created 6,000 spaces by 2020. In the coming year, we will also increase the financial support to New Brunswickers to help them pay for daycare spaces.
That education is one of their top priorities, and that is why we are going to be the government who invests the most in education in the history of our province. We are going to work with our universities, colleges, to ensure we have the strongest post-secondary education system possible. Votre gouvernement fera davantage pour accroître l'abordabilité.
Your government will do more to increase the affordability and accessibility to post-secondary studies.
And by making training more accessible and affordable, we will have a strong and qualified workforce. We will address the skills gap, and we will give opportunity for all New Brunswickers. Your government recently released a New Brunswick Economic Growth Plan. The plan was developed by listening to and working with stakeholders. We were able to engage with youth, entrepreneurs, experts, academia, businesses, community leaders, First Nations people, innovators, and workers. They shared their thoughts on the challenges and opportunities before us. Le plan de croissance économique du Nouveau-Brunswick est ambitieux.
It is an ambitious plan and it is attainable. This plan will help us establish the appropriate conditions for a strong economic growth. One of the complaints from companies in Canada and New Brunswick is the shortage of workers. And this is why the pillar is most important one is economic growth through education and training so that we have a strong workforce in the province. We understand that it is the best way to strengthen our economy and to help New Brunswick companies face world competition.
Foot in the door and will help our businesses find workers. Our partnership with NBCC and CCNB to provide second language training to unemployed New Brunswickers will also target the skills gap. One of the best ways for us to fill the skills gap is more affordable and accessible post-secondary education. The free tuition program we have created will help those who need the most support access university and college education free of charge. Education is also the best way to have a proactive healthcare system. Offering more educational and training opportunities to New Brunswickers will lift so many out of the cycle of poverty. Improving the quality of life of those who are struggling through investments in education and training will make us healthier, which in turn is the best way to improve our healthcare system. We are listening to New Brunswickers' concerns and their ideas, and we're getting results. As an example, through the integrated service delivery for at-risk children and youth, we are helping hundreds of school students who struggle with mental health challenges. We are committed as a government to expand this very successful model province-wide by 2018, giving more youth, educators and schools the support that they need. We believe that investing in our youth, investing in our education system, investing in training opportunities, and investing in our people is the best strategy to get our economy on the right track and the best investments to make sure that we have the best quality of life for all New Brunswickers. By working with the Trudeau government, we focused on growth in order to be able to invest in New Brunswickers' priorities of job creation, education, and health care. The Leader of the Opposition, on the other hand, wants to continue his and Harper's work of deep cuts in the priorities of New Brunswickers. There lies the biggest difference between the opposition and your government. We believe that investing strategically and investing more in the economy, healthcare and education is what we need for our province to get on the right track. The Leader of the Opposition has made it clear that he would cut in our healthcare system. He made it clear he would close rural hospitals. Nous croyons à l'investissement dans notre système de...
We believe in the investment of our healthcare system. We're committed to improving this healthcare system.
Speaker, as long as I'm your Premier, no rural hospital will be closed in this province. The Leader of the Opposition wants us to cut in education like he did when he was the Finance Minister. These cuts are unfortunately still being felt on our education system today. Nous allons investir davantage.
We will invest more in education. Indeed, our government will be the government that will invest more in education in the history of our province.
Juste cette semaine,
just this week, he's talking about cutting the integrated service delivery program that helps hundreds of young people in the province that have mental health issues.
Rolling it up across the province, thus helping hundreds of children and youth across the province with mental health challenges. He wants us to reduce investments in reducing poverty. Nous allons continuer à travailler avec.
We will continue to work with the ISIC Corporation in order to reduce poverty in the province.
Il veut couper nos.
He wants to cut in the strategic investments in infrastructure.
We made in infrastructure investments such as the affordable housing to help seniors, those in poverty, women and children to have a place to call home. He's against the investments that we made in the Perth Andover Hospital. He's against the revitalization of downtown Moncton that we invested in.
He's against the $4 million project in the water treatment system in Grand Falls. He's against the Excellence Center in the Youth Mental Center. He's against the investments that we made in the Chaleur Regional Hospital and the regional airport in Bathurst. He's against the project worth more than $11 million between the Université de Moncton and the NBCC College in Shippagan.
$2 million we invested in for a new 30-bed nursing home in Grand Manan. He's against all of the educational investments that we're making on the Miramichi. He's against the investments in the Miramichi Airport then. He's against the Innovation and Environment Research Center at Mount A. He's against investing in our roads.
He's against the improvements to Route 11
that we invested for the Chris Saunders Memorial Elementary School in Quispamsis. He's against the $4.8 million that we're investing for a permanent location for the Fredericton Downtown Community Health Center. He's against the Healthy Living Research Center at UNB. And even in his backyard, Mr. Speaker, that means he's against the investments we made in the Port of St. John, a new trade school for the St. John, New Brunswick Community College, the St. John City Market, the Imperial Theatre, and the first new school to be built in St. John since 1984. The Leader of the Opposition does not support raising the minimum wage to help some of our province's most vulnerable workers cope with increases to their cost of living. We do. We raised it. We will continue to do so. The Leader of the Opposition is against raising taxes on his friends, the richest 1% of New Brunswickers. He prefers cuts to education and health care. We aren't afraid to do what's right. We increased taxes on the richest 1% so we could invest more in education and health care. He opposes the CPP enhancement, which will put more money in New Brunswickers' pockets upon retirement. We will work with the Trudeau government to get this done.
He's against the free tuition fees program, and he indicated that he would give up on this historic initiative.
Our free tuition program, and has promised that if he forms government, he will not just cut it, he will eliminate it. If the Leader of the Opposition was looking for something that would make me work harder than I have ever worked before to gain the confidence of New Brunswickers, he just found it. I will debate, discuss, and work harder than I have ever done before to make sure the free tuition program we created, which gives low-income and middle-class families the chance to go to university and college for free, right here in New Brunswick, will be here to stay.
Mr. Speaker, he believes that we can cut to reach prosperity. He believes that we can cut in education while maintaining a strong economy. He believes that we can cut in education in our healthcare and maintain a strong social fabric.
That New Brunswickers want strategic investments in education and healthcare, not cut after cut after cut like we saw the Leader of the Opposition do when he was the Finance Minister. We will continue to work with the Trudeau government and strategically to spur economic growth, and we will continue to invest in things that are delivering results. We will continue to invest strategically in infrastructure to stimulate our economy, and we will continue to invest more in education to ensure that we have a skilled workforce, because we are already seeing some of the results from all of these announcements. Notre gouvernement s'est engagé à...
Our government committed to help to creating more than 10,000 jobs. Up to now, we supported the creation of more than 8,500 jobs in the province.
New Brunswick economy grew by 2.3%, the largest growth rate of our economy here in New Brunswick since 2004. And it was the third largest economic growth rate in Canada, only behind British Columbia and Ontario.
The province increased commercial investments for the first time since 2008. And goods and services exports had their strongest growth since 2001. According to CIPA, investments in major projects increased by 29% in 2015. This created jobs, and we're also making sure that we can compete globally for many years to come.
Ranked New Brunswick as the second most competitive province in economic development in the country. All of these investments, all of this growth is creating an economy in New Brunswick that is vibrant and strong. But what's important to note, Mr. Speaker, the growth that we're seeing is not going to a certain amount of people, a few businesses. Mr. Speaker, we are making sure that we have a structure in our province not only to grow our economy, but to share that growth. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, one of the things that we're so proud of as a government is to work with New Brunswickers, to work with businesses, to work with job creators and community leaders to ensure that New Brunswick be #1 in Canada when it came to increasing wages of our people, Mr. Speaker. There are a lot of good things happening right now in New Brunswick. By working together, we are getting things done. Over the last 2 years, by working together, we have cut the deficit by almost half, all the while growing the New Brunswick economy at its fastest rate since 2004, and all the while investing more in education and more in health care. These are the facts. These are the facts, but we won't stop now. We must continue to work together to get things done. To continue this momentum we have created together, we will have to work that much harder. And that is what we intend to do as your government. And we have no doubt that with the help of all New Brunswickers, businesses, First Nations, stakeholders, experts, people that want to make a difference in our province, we will get things done and move our province forward. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.